Hello, my name is Melissa Lunardini, and joining me today is Mark Miller, Joe Hurtado, Douglas Weber, and James Duran. And our presentation for you today is titled, You Are Now Free to Move About the Country, an in-depth analysis on Southwest Airlines. So we chose the Southwest airline industry because the airline industry is an industry that single-handedly bolstered the way that people live and experience the world. Southwest in particular is currently one of 6 national-based airlines that make up of 94% of the U.S. market share. What makes Southwest different amongst its competitors is that they understand 3 critical components in our opinion. First, they understand leadership. So Southwest really cultivated a service industry that bought into their mission. Second is strategy and innovation. So their strategy was to provide low prices, high frequency of flights, and convenient locations, and it's worked for them. In the realm of innovation, they remain the industry leaders on something they've termed the 20-minute turnaround time. They even redesigned a lot of their aircrafts to cut fuel costs and make it more fuel efficient. The last thing that they understand is competitive advantage. So they truly understand the definition of competitive advantage, which means that they focus on what their differentiators are. So as far as barriers go to enter into the airline industry, it's a highly competitive industry, which means that because it's highly competitive and it's capital intensive, it actually makes for a low barrier to entry. According to Market Realists, 1,300 airlines have entered into the market since the last 40 years. Due to how capital intense it is and fixed costs and manufacturing costs, it actually makes for a high barrier to exit though. So the following presentation will cover Southwest's leadership, a short video on Southwest's rebranding initiative, and a bunch of their accolades that they've gotten over the years, a look into their competitors, a short company SWOT analysis, a high-level overview of Southwest's financials, and their main strategy focus along with their competitive advantages. So please sit back, make sure your seatbelts are tightly fastened, and enjoy this short overview of Southwest Airlines. So Southwest has a philosophy that says if you serve the employees well, they'll serve the customers well, which will ultimately drive business and benefit stakeholders. Simon Sinek writes in his book Leaders Eat Last that great companies like Southwest, they don't just hire skilled people and motivate them, they hire already motivated people and then inspire them to do well in their agency. Southwest really prides itself on cultivating leaders from within. Many, if not all, the executive leadership team have been with Southwest for several years, some even reaching the 35-year mark. So Gary Kelly is the CEO, and under his leadership, Southwest has grown to become the largest airline in terms of domestic passengers carried. He's also made it to where Southwest consistently ranks on the Fortune magazine list of most admired companies in the world. Gary is a 30-year Southwest veteran who started out as a controller and worked his way up. He became CEO in 2014. One of Gary's biggest sources of pride that says on his executive profile is the fact that Southwest Airline has never had one single layoff in its 46-year history. Moving on to Tom Nealing, who is the president of Southwest. He's responsible for commercial, finance, technology, corporate delivery, strategy, and innovation departments at Southwest. Before assuming that role, Tom served in other roles at Southwest as well and moved his way up. Mike Van de Ven had several positions as well and moved his way up to the executive vice president and COO. Bob Jordan serves as the executive vice president and chief commercial officer. He's been with Southwest since 1988. Jeff Lamb serves as the executive vice president and corporate services, joining in 2004. Tammy Romo, who's the only female in the leadership circle, serves as the Executive Vice President and Chief Financial Officer, and she's been with Southwest since 1991. Greg Wells, he's the Executive Vice President of Daily Operations, so he sees the day-to-day operations for the airline, and he's been with Southwest for over 35 years. One of the things that I've enjoyed throughout this research process on Southwest, when reading the executive leadership's profiles, They all share their ideas on what leadership is. They give advice to the employees on how to lead themselves and move up. They also talk about their journey through Southwest, which really inspires employees to think bigger and think about growth within the industry. I've learned that there are 11 board of directors, and of course Gary Kelly sits, and he is one of the board of directors. Many of them are independent directors who've held prestigious positions, such as in law firms, construction, aviation, banking. Many of them have been professors at Ivy League universities, among many other professions. This is a highly qualified and competent group of people at the helm. Collectively, what I've learned is that the leadership team is one of the many reasons why Southwest is leading the pack as far as branding goes, strategy, innovation, stock, competitive advantage, and Southwest just truly knows how to put the heart into flying.
Bonjour, Cannes judges. The Southwest Airlines rebrand story is starting now. Flying is a wonderful experience for everyone. Okay, who are we kidding? If you aren't diamond, platinum, titanium status, flying these days is pretty heartless. Outrageous bag fees, shrinking seats, and charging for everything. At least that's what we hear. Southwest never got that memo. We just kept doing what we've always done, giving low fares and friendly service to everyone. Then one day we woke up to find we'd gone from a little old airline in Texas to the largest domestic carrier in North America. Whoa, we needed a new brand look and symbol that would claim our leadership. And there it was, heart. Southwest is the only airline with heart to put people first. So we made that our logo, adding it as a subtle punctuation in our name. And then, to remind people there was still one airline with heart, we painted it as big as Texas on the belly of our planes. But we didn't stop there. We overhauled our entire fleet with a new, more polished appearance. Then we designed a clean, modern, impactful brand look that's as fun and full of personality as we are. Southwest is and always has been the only airline with heart. Some say we do things differently. We say, why would we do things any other way? And now for the obligatory impressive stats and industry kudos set to cool music. Thank you for considering Southwest Airlines.
Hi, Professor Ryan and classmates. I'm Mark Miller. I'll be talking to you a little bit today about how Southwest Airlines is soaring over their competition. As you can see on the graph, they have a second highest market share of all domestic carriers. Basically, looking at the graph, you can see we have the big four. We have Delta, Southwest, United, and American Airlines. And Southwest seems to really have a stranglehold on the market. They've really been known as a disruptor in the marketplace, kind of a gunslinger attitude Southwest carries with it. They have a real strong customer following. If you look at the Twitter feeds and such, they've really been strong on social media and the way they interact with their customers, and really strive for a positive customer experience and really get really good feedback from the customers. And they really strive to be the low-cost carrier with a no-frills attitude. Let's take a look at some of the strengths of Southwest Airlines. They have a real financial wherewithal. They have been known to record profits year on year and continue to grow those profits in a positive direction. Its consistent profitability and balance sheet strengths have resulted in the airline holding the position of the only U.S. airline to achieve investment grade status. In 2013, they recorded $754 million in net profit. They're also known to be an iconic brand. It's one of the most recognized brands in the US, and it consistently works to exploit its heritage through advertising during high-profile sporting events. It maintains a robust domestic network. Presently, Southwest Airlines is benefiting from strong demand within the U.S. marketplace, reflected in 8% passenger unit revenue growth in 2014, the largest gain of any U.S. airline. They continue to take market share away from their competitors. Let's take a look at some of the weaknesses that might keep Southwest Airlines grounded in the future. They have very minimal revenue opportunity. Southwest Airlines is known as a no-frills, low-cost carrier, so some of the extra fees that the other carriers are getting, Southwest forgoes. That would be one of the greatest opportunities at Southwest, is they could leverage some of the baggage fees and other fees that other carriers charge. Southwest is starting to try to sell a few boarding pass opportunities to raise a little bit extra revenue. One of the other weaknesses is that its product is outdated. It's basically about a 45-year-old airline now, and most of their aircraft are, in the 10 to 25-year range. And they have a strong balance sheet because they haven't made a lot of capital investments recently, but that is one of their weaknesses, that instead of, some of the carriers are extending legroom and making it more comfortable for the passengers. Southwest decided to go the opposite as normal, as the gunslinger airline they are, and tighten up the legroom and get more passengers in the airplanes. So they definitely take a different approach, and sometimes that's a weakness in some people's mind, and in their eyes it's an opportunity.
All right, now we're going to get into opportunities. The 4 topics I'll be talking about will be expanded flight destinations, international markets, growth of the Hispanic and the elderly population, as well as aircraft technology. Currently, Southwest Airlines provides flights from 102 locations. These locations are mostly in the United States of America, and a couple flights from Mexico, Caribbean area, and Central America. There are several potential airports that Southwest can expand into within the United States, or Southwest can just increase flight destinations Southwest already operates in the United States. However, I feel one of Southwest's greatest opportunities is to expand into destinations in Mexico and south of Mexico. In one of the following slides coming up, I will discuss why expanding into Latin America would be a great opportunity for Southwest to take advantage of. Southwest also has an opportunity to expand into countries like India and Asia because of their improving economies. As these countries develop, the median income increases. When the median income increases for these people, the demand for travel increases. Also, as businesses in India and Asia continue to grow, the demand for business travel also increases. There is a lot of room for Southwest to expand, whether it be domestic or internationally. There is a significant growth in the Hispanic population in recent years. From 2000 to 2010, the Hispanic population increased by 15.2 million for a total of 16.3% of the United States population. The Census Bureau expects for this trend to continue and increase over the next 10 years. There will be a growing population who may have families south of the United States, and Southwest has a great opportunity to capitalize on this by adding more destinations or more flights to this increasing demand. Also, the United States is experiencing an increase in the elderly population. As the United States baby boomers starts to retire, these individuals may seek to take vacations. From 2000 and 2010, the United States had an increase of 5% for 65 and older, as well as a 2.5% increase for 85 and older. A very popular destination of vacation is in Central and South America, where the US dollar is worth more. As these countries become safer and more developed, they are becoming more popular as a vacation destination, not only for the elderly population, but for all Americans. Southwest Airlines can capitalize on the aging population as well as Americans looking to take a vacation at a cheap location. The last opportunity that Southwest can take advantage of is aircraft technology. Southwest can purchase the Boeing Dreamliner, which is one of the most comfortable planes to fly in. The Dreamliner has a state-of-the-art air pressure system where passengers feel like they are at an altitude of 6,000 feet, which is 2,000 feet lower than a standard flight. The aircraft is also lighter, which will cut down on fuel costs, and is 20% more fuel efficient than other aircrafts. This aircraft is huge compared to older models and gives a passenger a more enjoyable flight where they do not feel like they're stuffed in a tube. This aircraft would be a great fit for older generations since they have more money and some of them may need extra space to fly comfortable. Southwest can use this efficient aircraft to fly to all its destinations, especially for long distance travel. Next, I'll be talking about threats, which will be competition, terrorism, new regulation, and alternate forms of travel. Southwest Airlines' biggest threats come from newcomers like JetBlue and Frontier. They are mimicking Southwest Airlines' strategy and trying to implement exactly what makes Southwest Airlines special. Companies like JetBlue and Frontier are striving to have low-cost flights, employee-driven strategy, and differentiated services. Since these companies came to be, they have plotted several schemes to make Southwest organization fail and reduce its competitive advantage. Another form of competition Southwest experiences is dealing with other large airlines. Their flights are cheaper and deter Southwest Airlines from providing flights in certain locations. Some of these airlines are United, Northwest, American Airlines, etc. Since Southwest does not have operations established in these some locations, it would not be cost effective for Southwest to provide flights at these locations. Also, another threat is Southwest unable to cut costs. Because of the amount of competition in the airline market, there is no more room to cut costs. So if sales fall due to a terrorist attack, raising fuel costs, new regulations, and alternate forms of travel, there isn't much Southwest can do. Also, another threat is terrorism. One terrorist attack can cause people to stay home and not fly for a while, as well as stop flights for the day to repair the damage at one of Southwest's destinations. This can affect Southwest Airlines sales with one large terrorist attack. There is always new regulation in the airline industry, from no lithium batteries on flight to additional security. These can either hurt Southwest sales or create more costs. These costs cannot be avoided, and Southwest will have to find ways to account for them, which can be hard in this industry where costs are already cut to its limits. Fuel prices. Also, if there's another spike in crude oil prices, Southwest will have to find a way to account for these costs, which will hurt sales. This is always going to be a danger for the airline industry. And last of all, alternate forms of travel will also be a threat. There are plans to build several high-speed trains in the United States. High-speed rail may become an indirect competitor. However, I feel self-driving cars will be the biggest indirect competition in the future. I work with automation industry and have visited places like Google where they are developing self-driving cars. Once self-driving vehicles are here, people will be able to book a vehicle where they can sleep in to travel for short distances. They will be able to sleep as the vehicle takes them to their destination, and this of course will have limitations, but the destinations that are within 500 miles, like from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, can reduce sales for the airline companies.
Hello, my name is Douglas Weber, and I will be discussing Southwest Airlines' performance as reflected in the stock market and the strategic changes affecting the company's growth. There are three graphs on the right side of this slide. The top graph is the overall performance of the New York Stock Exchange. The middle is Southwest Airlines stock price, and the bottom graph is the price of crude oil. The graphs are aligned in time from 1980 to today for comparison. Southwest Airlines stock ticker symbol, LUV, as you can see in the graph in the middle, the stock has done well in the last several years. The airline has differentiated itself from other carriers by exemplary customer service, simplicity, and inelegance in air travel. However, many factors shape the historical stock price. News releases on earnings, profits, and the company's future estimated earnings affect stock prices. When Southwest advertises a new service such as Wi-Fi or an update to their fleet of planes, the stock will react. Securing new routes, for example, this fall 2017, Southwest will add routes to Mexico, the Caribbean, and Milwaukee. This action has solidified Southwest's move into the international market, and the stock price has responded positively. On May 2, 2011, Southwest acquired AirTran, influencing the stock. Southwest stock price will also be influenced by the dollar, passengers deciding whether to travel to either Southwest-supported destinations or abroad where the dollar may be stronger or weaker. Finally, the company's success depends on the price that they pay for jet fuel, whether it is current price or a hedged acquisition. At inception in the 70s, they took a share of the market, as depicted on the graph in the middle. Southwest steadily held its share of the market during the recession recovery in the early 80s due to its cost savings to customers. In the 90s, as crude oil prices were heading downward, investors saw the improvement in Southwest financial numbers. This began a steady increase in the stock price into the high teens. When the collapse of the housing market devastated most stocks, LUV stock had also had a 70% decrease. Southwest's recovery was swift due to the future it had purchased in fuel market. The graph at the bottom shows the price of oil. Recently, as the price of crude oil has declined, Southwest stock price has risen dramatically. Southwest trades on the New York Stock Exchange. A 50-year history of its performance is in the graph on the top. When dot-com sent the market skyrocketing, it is easy to see that LUV rode this overall momentum. Fortunately, when the rest of the market crashed, LUV continued to hold its price. The graph of Southwest stock price has steady gains for 46 years and has been an excellent long-term investment. Southwest is one of the most profitable airlines in the world. It is this kind of consistency that helps the company maintain its stock price, even when the airline has been unsuccessful at hedging oil fuel. Adam Levine Weinberg states that rising non-fuel costs at this time are the biggest impediment to profit growth at Southwest. This is due in part to the company's handing out big raises to several employee groups, and in the late 2016, the article states, "The outlook for Southwest is good. The current bout of cost pressures will end abruptly later this year," comments Weinberg. The analysts foresee strong unit cost performance and return to profit growth in late 2017 and 2018. The experts believe there is opportunity for short-term growth potential, and the company has solid long-term profit growth prospects. The web article, "What Has AirTran Done for Southwest Airlines" on December 11, 2014 in Forbes.com states AirTran has accelerated Southwest's move into the international markets. The growing markets in Central and South America were opened in Southwest due to the acquisition. The author also states that AirTran has made Southwest the largest domestic airline based on number of passengers flown. Prior to the AirTran acquisition in 2011, profits were $178 million. After acquisition, they were $421 million in 2012, $754 million in 2013, and Southwest Airlines' website reported record profits of $2.24 billion in 2016. Finally, this Forbes article states AirTran has expedited Southwest's expansion into the continental United States and also positioned the airline well for long-term growth in international markets. Southwest's 2016 One Report, released May 17, 2017, calls for continued commitment to the triple bottom line of performance, people, and planet. Regarding performance, the company recorded a net income of $2.24 billion. The people/employees earned $586 million in profit sharing in 2016 and maintain a high presence volunteering, while the company donated $25 million in airline tickets. Southwest continues to its position of sustainability by investing heavily in fuel efficiency, $565 million since 2002. Advancing their planet concerns, they gave 5,000 surplus life vests to nonprofits to assist fishermen in Uganda in keeping the waste out of landfills, states the One Report. When investors such as Warren Buffett added airline carriers to their portfolios, it sends a strong signal that investors are expecting good things for the future of stocks such as Southwest. From the investor's perspective, with strong leadership, effective strategy, innovations, and competitive advantage, Southwest continues to be a highly profitable airline. Coupled with clever and effective fuel procurement techniques, these position Southwest as a solid investment. Thank you.
In the airline industry, it is very important to be competitive. In a market that has tons of competition with new airlines entering the market every year, Southwest Airlines does a great job at being competitive. Southwest Airlines maintains a high competitive advantage because of its low-cost flights, its employee-driven organization, and the way it's differentiated itself from other airlines. Southwest Airlines works hard on keeping its costs low for its customers. The way they do this is by cutting costs on its flights. So, for example, they only fly Boeing 737s. Boeing 737s have a high seat capacity, but they don't have first class seats, at least in Southwest Airlines. They only run regular seats. You can pay extra to have a higher seating availability so you can board faster than everybody else and you could choose a better seat, but they don't do reserved seats either. They do not do dinners on planes. They do not serve meals. They will serve snacks on flights over 2 hours. Southwest does not offer any in-flight entertainment. No movies, no TVs, anything of that sort. They also have many flights going out and into every airport. They have more flights than any other airlines. And because of this, and because of their Boeing 737s, they are able to keep costs very minimal to provide a better cost to its customers. Southwest Airlines is a very employee-driven organization. They believe in hiring only high customer service oriented employees. They go through a rigorous hiring process to make sure they filter out only the people at the top of the customer service game. They believe that customer service is a priority and is what sets them apart from other airlines. Southwest is very competitive with its pay. Southwest pilots make more than any other airlines, and they believe that by paying their pilots more, their pilots will work harder and fly more flights and get more done in the same amount of time as other pilots, which in turn justifies the better pay. Southwest operates on the ideals that its employees should be treated as well, if not better, than it expects its employees to treat its customers. Southwest is known in the industry for treating its employees very well. Employees are known for a high customer service satisfaction rate. Southwest is known industry-wide as a high customer service organization, and this in part is what sets them apart from every other airlines out there. Southwest Airlines prides itself on being different from every other airlines out there. Southwest flies with a heart on its underbelly to show that it loves its passengers. The love is evident when you walk into Southwest. Employees are happy. People are courteous, way different than any other airlines, and it promotes the idea of love and that Southwest cares about its customers. Southwest also has a bags fly free program. Unlike any other airlines that charges for the bags or gives the first one free, charges for the second one, Southwest gives 2 free bags to every passenger that comes aboard. No having to worry about paying extra for carry-on, no having to worry about paying extra for checked baggage. Southwest is an innovator in this type of flying. They also have a cancellation policy that allows passengers to cancel up to 30 minutes before departure and use that towards another flight. This is unheard of in the industry. Usually flights, once they're booked, they're not refundable whatsoever. You either take the flight or you lose the money. Southwest has been making major strides to make itself be different from every other airlines. They also are investing more in their future. Southwest is going out and looking for more economical airplanes, better fuel efficiency airplanes, things to make them more efficient and provide a better cost to their customers. Southwest has a passion for being different than any other airlines, and it is showing in the success of the organization. Leadership in Southwest Airlines has a commitment to outstanding customer service. Strategically, Southwest has a high volume of domestic flights, which gives customers multiple low-cost options. Southwest is the innovator of the 20-minute turnaround, which means when a flight comes in and offboards its passengers, it will be ready to go and to take off in 20 minutes. And they've also redesigned their aircrafts to be more fuel efficient. Southwest maintains a competitive advantage due to its low cost, short flights, and high customer service. Threats to Southwest Airlines include competition and alternative travel solutions. Competition being rival airlines who are taking the Southwest model and applying it to their organizations and trying to compete with Southwest, and alternative forms of travel, which include trains, self-driving cars, or even the Hyperloop, which promises to revolutionize the way we travel. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth analysis on why Southwest sits among the leadership board in the airline industry. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.